All these timelines would have taken me 3+ hours to organize, but Cutback is sponsoring this video because their Selects app edited all this for me in just a few minutes. Or let me put this another way. You sit down to edit a video, let's say it's a wedding, and this first part is what everybody hates and nobody wants to do. First, you have to import your video clips, then if you're using multiple cameras or audio recorders, you have to sync them up and play through the audio of people speaking multiple times as you pick out the best takes and removing filler words before you ever start to build the structure of your video. This can take anywhere from 1 hour for a YouTube video to a full day of work for a wedding or commercial video with a lot of interviews, and a lot of this work is not creative. It's just organizational work that you have to do before you can actually get to the creative part of video editing. Personally, I've used assistant editors for this part of the job in the past, but if you don't have the budget for an assistant editor, that's where Selects from Cutback comes in, because you can really think of this tool as an AI assistant editor built to save you a lot of time with all this busy work so you can get to the fun creative stuff that you actually enjoy about editing. In this video, I want to show you how Selects works with a variety of projects so you can see and understand just how much time you can save by using this software as your assistant editor. And full disclosure, because I know you'll want to know, yes, Selects does use AI, but this is my favorite kind of AI, not the AI that takes your job, the kind that saves you time with mindless busy work so you can be more creative. This AI helps you get to the fun part of editing faster. Let's talk about a wedding film. A huge part of editing a wedding is sorting through and organizing all the audio of people speaking on the wedding day, and in this example, I have a full wedding ceremony with footage that I filmed with 3 separate cameras for multiple angles, plus 2 audio recorders. It's a lot. And all of that is just sitting in these folders as I copy them from the memory cards. But instead of going through and importing all the footage into the editing software and trying to organize it, I'm instead going to let my assistant editor, Selects, do it for me. And to do that, all I'm going to do is go over here to the ceremony folder, and we're just going to click and drag it up here to Selects and let it go. And then Selects is immediately going to go to work. It's really intelligent. It's going to analyze all of the files and then begin syncing all of the audio and video together with the waveform because there's no timecode detected. Yes, if you are a filmmaker who misses pluralize, which used to be one of the best tools for syncing audio and video, you are going to love Selects because it brings that capability back and it works extremely well. Now, at this point, Selects tells us what it is seeing. It says it sees that it is a wedding ceremony with a lot of different clips here, and then it has synced up the video, but notice that it says that it has skipped some of the footage because they are at 60 frames per second, so it thinks of these as B-roll, not A-roll. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and just chat with it, and I'm going to say sync the 59.94 FPS clips as A-roll, and press enter. Selects is going to fully understand what I asked for. It's going to add all of those skipped clips to the timeline, and then it's going to sync them up. And after just a few seconds, everything is synced. And I have to say, it's already kind of impressive what Selects is doing here, but here is where the real fun begins, because it's time for Selects to actually start analyzing the video in depth and pulling these story elements from the footage. And to do that, all you have to do is go up here to the top right and click Start Analysis. Now, depending on how large your project is, it's going to vary how long Selects is going to take. But in this case, for a full wedding ceremony, it's telling me that it's going to take about 16 minutes to analyze all this footage. So we're going to wait for it to finish. Back to Selects now. It has finished the initial analysis of the footage, and now it's asking how we want to edit this project. And it gives you options for different categories, if it's podcast or talk show or interview. In this case, it's another because it's a wedding ceremony, and you can see it detects all these different speakers here because this ceremony had a lot of different people talking during it. And then it either lets you choose if you have a script or it will suggest an edit for you. In this case, it's a ceremony. We don't have a script, so I'm going to select suggest an edit, and I'm going to click continue. Now, as you can see, Selects can tell that this is a wedding ceremony, and then it actually makes suggestions for what kind of edit it should make. This tool basically cleans up all the footage and gives you the pure version of your ceremony, which will save you a ton of time editing. But we aren't done yet, because after this initial analysis, just like a good assistant editor, Selects is going to help you narrow down the actual story that you want to tell with the video, and you can chat with it and tell it exactly what you want. Over here on the left, you can see that it has divided up the video into topics: pre-ceremony preparations, welcome and processional, prayer and worship, the vows, and the post-ceremony celebration. And then to work with the AI for this edit, this is just like working with any other AI chatbot, but this one happens to be an expert at video editing. In this case, Slex is going to ask you what kind of edit you want this to be, which is exactly what an assistant editor would ask, because they want to help you refine the edit. So it's going to ask us, what is the target length? And we're going to say, actually, I want this to be a full ceremony film so I can walk all the way through it. But if you wanted to, it could make a shorter highlight or just a reel that you could post to social media. In this case, let's choose full ceremony, and then it's going to go to work. Slex then tells me, here is the plan. It's going to cut the pre-ceremony preparations, which I wouldn't want to watch anyways, heavily trim the welcome and processional, trim the prayer and worship a bit, keep all of the vows because it knows that those are very important, and then it will trim lightly the pronouncement, but keep the rings, final vows, closing prayer, and kiss intact. Total video length it's targeting is 20 minutes, which is dramatically shorter than the 49 minutes approximately of raw footage that we have here. So yeah, let's let it cut it down. It says, do you want me to kick it off? We're going to say yes. Press enter, just like we're chatting with it, and it's going to go to work. What's great is that Slex tells you what it's doing. It's trimming things. It's adjusting the pacing. It is setting up the multicam for all of the angles, which is great. You don't have to do this manually. It's doing it for you. And here we are right at about 20 minutes for this edit, broken up by the processional, prayer and worship, vows, ring exchange, and pronouncement. This looks really good. What's great too is that if you want to make more tweaks, you can just talk to the chatbot and tell it what you want it to do. Or Slex also comes with some very useful tools that you can select right over here to the right of your timeline. Tools like the ability for you to remove silence or cut filler words. If we want to cut out hesitations or hedging or repeats, just check these, select all occurrences, click cut, and it will instantly remove all of those from the edit. Now I want you to check this out. Here are some snippets from the video that Slex created. And don't worry, I'll show you how to export from Slex soon, but I want you to see just a bit of how this wedding ceremony looks, because this has all been edited by Slex and it's looking really good.
Well, on behalf of Paul and Monica, again, welcome, and let's begin with a word of prayer. Thank you for this day, this place, and your people.
Now here is this other project, and this is from a different wedding that I filmed where the bride was reading a letter that she wrote to the groom. And the difference is that this video was filmed with 2 cameras plus an audio recorder, and as you can see, Slex was able to detect that there were multiple cameras, and it was then able to sync up both of them together, which is great. And if I want to check things out, I can just scrub through this timeline down here to see how everything looks. And I want you to notice down here on the timeline, there's this raised portion up here at the top, and if I mouse over, it says review takes. So let's click on that. And I want you to notice that the AI has detected that this portion of the video actually has 2 separate takes. There's one where she starts midway through the line and contains a stutter around 8 seconds in, and another where she delivers the majority of the speech correctly. And so it has chosen this take of the video, and it says that it's the best. So it's by default already correct. But if you wanted to say, actually, I want this other take, just click on it and then it'll start using that take instead. This is so easy to do. It's awesome. In addition, if you want to see how everything looks on your timeline, you can actually go over here and click on this expand multicam tracks and then see all of the different angles that the AI has chosen throughout the video. And if you have multiple people speaking in your video, you can go down here to this camera switch settings and actually change it from no camera switching to have it follow the speaker whenever they talk, or an auto scene mix where it will choose speaker angles, reactions, and wide shots based on the conversation. And all you have to do is just tag the different speakers and the cameras, click apply, and it will go through that, which can be extremely useful if you're editing a podcast, for example, that has a lot of speakers and cameras. It will make things so much easier. Let's now switch to another edit that I recently did where I interviewed a groom for a wedding, and I really wanted to get deeply personal with him in this interview about his love, his relationship, the wedding, and what he was looking forward to about the day. You can go up here and read through the script, and it's going to show you the dots where there are pauses. You can see the filler words here, etc. And so you can actually read through, or you can go up here to search, and you can actually search through the text if you remember a moment and you want to find it exactly, which is super cool. Oh, and if you want to make any other edits, you can literally just go in here and click through to select a text to go to exactly that moment, or you can click and delete the text if you want to actually make an edit and remove some words, etc. If we're like, hey, I don't like this, actually, just backspace it out, hit enter. Okay, that's gone from the edit. really cool and quick. And I hear you telling me, Matt, this is cool, but what the heck do I do now? Selects looks like it's made a really useful timeline here that's much cleaner, but how the heck do I get it into my actual video editing software? Well, that's where the handoff comes in. Yes, Select supports all the major video editing software, DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, Final Cut. Let me show you Premiere Pro first, but don't worry, we'll talk about DaVinci here in a minute. To hand off your video from Selects to Premiere, all you have to do is go up here to the top right, and it says Continue In. Click this little drop down here, and you can select Adobe Premiere, Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, or even export a text transcript or the video directly from Selects if you wanted to. In this case, I'm going to choose Adobe Premiere, and then it's going to ask me which Premiere version are you using. So it works with even earlier versions if you're using one of those, and you can then choose if you want to nest your multicams, include muted audio tracks, which I would recommend including in case you wanted to modify them later. It'll also let you include captions. Heck yes, this is such a time saver to already have captions made. You can choose topic titles as markers or as captions. We're gonna leave it as markers because that adds some really nice organization to the top. You can even add space between your topics if you know you're not gonna have them all on the timeline just back to back. In this case, we'll leave them all together, and then we're going to click Handoff. And then you can choose where you want to save your Premiere Pro project, because yes, that is what is gonna save it as. Then all you have to do is click Open Folder, which will bring you directly to where your project is. Double click to open it. As you can see, Selects has all of the footage organized and put into different bins here. And here on the project panel, you have two sequences. One of these sequences that Selects made is the topic string out, which has all of the edits that it has made put out on your timeline with markers ready for you to start the creative part of editing and playing through it. This is exactly where I would want to come in to play through this edit for the first time, to check out all my audio and begin the fun part of the editing process of telling the story from the video. But alternatively, what if you want to see all of the footage organized, not just the cut down stuff from Selects? Well, as you can see, the program also gives you a different sequence that has all of the footage laid out on the timeline, but it is still organized and easy for you to scrub through. So if you decide you want to include the audio of the interviewer speaking or something like that, you can go right over here and choose this sequence. Do you see how much faster this is? And to be clear, this is just the groom interview, but if you did a bride interview, you could run that through Selects as well. And you could really run the entire ceremony through Selects, the reception toast. You have so many areas you can pull from on the wedding day where Selects makes a lot of sense to help you organize all of your footage and have it in the perfect spot for you to start editing. Now, let's talk about a really painful scenario that you will inevitably face as a freelance video editor. Let's say you're editing a vlog for YouTube, or you were hired by a client who filmed a ton of footage at a trade show or convention, etc., and they said, hey, turn this into a usable edit. You know what I'm talking about. The client says, make this work, all this random footage I give you. And you're like, okay, I'll try. Well, with Selects, this tool can help you out a lot. In this scenario, I attended the NAB show in Vegas. I filmed a ton of footage of the show floor while I walked around, showing off all the latest cool camera gear and accessories. And whenever I released this video a short while ago on YouTube, I had to fully manually edit it, going through all the footage of myself talking, cutting out any of my mistakes, finding the best takes, and I did it, but I still made plenty of mistakes while I was recording, so it took me quite a few hours to get through the edit. Well, I want to show you how much time Selects could have saved me, and it could save you if you're working on an edit with this type of footage. So in this case, I have 3 folders of footage here that I filmed over 3 days at the trade show, and this is a mix of my talking head as well as B-roll of different gear. Nothing is organized here. Let's just drag these 3 folders into Selects. Selects then analyzed all 3 folders and recognized that there's only one camera. This isn't multiple angles. There's no audio to sync or anything like that, but it did recognize that this is a vlog, which could have come from the name of the folder or the audio content, but regardless, look over here on the left. Here are all of our clips laid out, easy to see. Here's our timeline, and Selects is ready to run analysis whenever we go up here and click start. So let's click start. Selects then went to work, and as you can see, it will notify me when it's ready, and it's saying it's gonna take about 17 minutes. So depending on the length of footage that you have to use, this is something that I would recommend doing ideally right after you get back from a shoot. You know, when you're tired, you get home, you copy all your footage, open up Selects, drag that stuff in, go to bed. You're gonna wake up the next day, full edit is already analyzed, ready for you to go. That's awesome. Selects has now analyzed all the footage and broken up into 12 distinct chapters, which is really great, covering all the different gear that I saw. And then over here on the right, it's saying, hey, here's some stuff that we're going to need to trim. Here's some stuff that looks really cool, but I have questions for you. There are 2 calls that are yours to make. First, what is the primary output that you want from this edit? Do you want this to be a full YouTube blog or a more tight highlight cut or a social media short? And I love that it's asking me this. And in this case, I want to do a full YouTube blog. But hey, if you have a client and they're like, hey, I just want a little social short, great, it's going to ask you. And so you could choose that if you wanted to. But in this case, let's select full YouTube blog. And let's ask, how should the pacing feel? Do you want it to be conversational or energetic and snappy? Or you can actually click something else and type what you want. But I think for this, I want high energy. I want something fun. So we're going to choose energetic and snappy. And then it's going to go to work again, analyzing everything and starting to build the edit. Analysis took about 30 seconds, so now it's breaking out each chapter of the vlog. Me arriving at AB, seeing the different pieces of camera gear, and ending with a tight outro. Estimated output, it says about 11 minutes. So we're going from about 30 minutes down to 11, which is great. It's going to pull out filler and silence. Every booth is going to get its moment. Nothing overstays. Do you want me to run this cut? Heck yes, I do. Selects is now done, and it has finished with a 12.8 minute long vlog cut down from 30. Not bad. Not bad at all. And this looks like it's going to be a really tight edit, but let's bring it into the editing software. So time to do a handoff. And instead of going over here and selecting Premiere Pro, let's try out DaVinci Resolve. So we're going to click on Continue in Resolve. It's going to ask you to select the timeline, which is this one that we have selected. Hand off one timeline. Now, one thing's different about Resolve versus Premiere is that Resolve uses a database for his projects. And the handoff from Select is going to be a little different than it is in Premiere, where it just gives you a project file. Instead, by choosing Resolve, Select is going to give you a zipped XML file. And to open it in Resolve, it's really easy. Create a new project in DaVinci Resolve and go up here to File, Import Timeline. Navigate to your unzipped zip file, which is going to give you 2 XML files, both the full timeline and the vlog. In this case, we want to select the vlog. We're going to click import. Resolve is going to ask you some questions about the timeline, but this should already be correct by default. So go ahead and press OK. And just like that, the entire timeline has now been imported into DaVinci Resolve with the entire project and subtitles already added, which is fantastic. And this video is now basically ready for you to edit. Like I said earlier, if you have a client who gives you a ton of footage from an event and they say, hey, make a video from all of this, that can be a big pain with a ton of work, because it takes a lot of time to discover the story that you need to tell when you have footage that's in this vlog style. Well, Selects makes that really easy because it's smart enough to help you find the story, find the important parts, find what matters, and save you a lot of time in the process. So if you have been looking for an assistant editor, someone who can help you get all of your footage organized and be ready for you to edit, handling all the busy work for you so you can be creative, which is what you really enjoy, in that case, I think you're going to absolutely love Selects. You can check out Selects at my link down in the video description, and whenever you use that link, you're going to get a free trial so you can try out Selects for yourself completely free. Thanks so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more videos that help you be a faster editor like this, and have a great day.